Hello viewers, welcome to Sunday Politics on Trust Television, right here in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am, as usual, your host, Ali M. Ali. For more than a decade, Nigeria has grappled with internal insecurity. In the northeast, and especially in Borno and some parts of Yobe State, insurgent elements, popularly known as Boko Haram, have reigned for more than 10 years. This predictably has damaged the social and economic fabric of that geopolitical zone and displaced in the process literally hundreds of thousands of people. Thankfully, there have been some remarkable reversal of this misfortune. In the southeast, insecurity takes the form of another insurgent group, IPOB, acronym for Independent People of Biafra. In the northwest and in north central, insecurity takes the form of banditry and kidnapping. Despite repeated assurances by all the security agencies that they are on top of the situation and that they're capable of containing the situation, most citizens and their leaders are not fully convinced that their lives and property will be secured. It is against this backdrop that some state governors, where insecurity in the form of banditry, kidnapping for ransom, and similar criminal acts have lingered for years, urge citizens to bear arms to protect themselves. That's the end goal. Now, in the past, governors like Masari of Katsina State, Autumn of Benue, and Darius of Taraba State have advocated for this measure. That is, citizens should arm themselves. While analysts and sundry other watchers of Nigeria's desperate insecurity problem have described the situation as desperate, like I said earlier. Well, these governors are not alone. Former and current ministers of defense, like General T.Y. Danjuma and Bashir Magaji, both of them retired general at a time in the recent past, had made similar calls, though for dissimilar reasons, however. Well, the recent call by the governor of Zamfara State, Bello Muhammad Matawalle, for citizens of his state to obtain guns to defend themselves against bandits has rekindled interest in examining the merits and demerit of what some say is inimical to the growth of the state. Joining me to look beyond the call of Governor Matawalle is the former Minister of Defense, Minister of State Defense, Alhaji Lawan Batagara. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Well, before we proceed, we take a quick break, and when we return, the former minister will share his thoughts with us. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Welcome back. You are tuned to Trust Television and you're watching Sunday Politics. With me in the studio is Alhaji Lawan Batagara, former Minister of State Defense. Now, Honorable Minister, what do you make of the latest call by the Governor of Zamfara State for citizens to bear arms to fight banditry, especially, which has ravaged his state for quite some time now?
My stand, thank you very much. You see, my stand on these different calls by different actors for citizenry to bear arms for self-protection or self-help, I have always opposed it, because if you go through that way, what you are heading to is a complete anarchy. You see, for state actors, in other words, the security agencies, for those who are allowed to bear arms, they go through stringent training and stringent control in how they handle this arms and ammunition and how they use them. They are well trained in doing that. And they are under strict supervision. In spite of that, you know that there are a number of times, or many times, when we have accidental discharge by the police, killing people. But if everybody is to bear arms, if you look at what is happening in the United States, these random killings by people who are holding arms, some of them legally, some of them illegally, that's where we are going to go. Because a lot of conflicts within the societies, if you cannot find peaceful way of resolving them, people can resort to arms. So that's why it is not helpful to make arms and ammunition available to a wide variety of individuals in any society. It is a recipe for disaster. It is in fact lead to anarchy, because also what it means is that if these non-state actors become strong enough, they can also challenge the security agents. If they feel what they want, they can't get it through peaceful means, and they have the guns and they can overpower. So it's really a recipe for anarchy. It is not the correct way to go if we are going to look for a sustainable, secure environment. If we are going to go that, if we are going to look for a sustainability in the security of the nation and the security of the individuals for life and property, it is something that has to be properly well organized with checks and balances. In fact, if the system is functioning properly, the use of arms and ammunition to ensure security, you'll find that is minimal. Take United States, take United Kingdom, or take United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia. How often do you see people with guns on the streets? Because the security system is well organized. Everybody knows what he is supposed to do, and he is doing it. So you don't even see the guns, except in very rare cases. For those of us, for those who travel abroad often, if you go to, especially if you go to Western Europe, it is very rare to see anybody holding arms. It's extremely rare. That's the way we should go. How can we organize ourselves and ensure that we provide security for life and property without this massive show of arms?
Well, some people say why perhaps they are advocating for this, especially some of the government officials like Governor Matawalle, who has in the past tried to cajole bandits to have some kind of truce, some kind of understanding. And if you recall also the case of Kazana, at a point they wanted to have a truce with the bandit, but that failed.
You see, you cannot have a truce with somebody that you are describing a bandit. He is an outlaw. You should bring that person to justice. All right? Now, so that's why the crisis is. There is a crisis, I agree. And there is a problem, I agree. Now, but in order to solve this problem in a way that will be sustainable, you have to do a number of things. Number one, those who are criminals, who are carrying arms, and they have, because obviously what they have done is they have declared war against the state. They should be crushed. For those of them who drop their arms and they have committed certain crimes, they should be arrested and prosecuted. For those people who are living in those areas, now let's take the pastoralists, who are generally Fulanis. Now, it is not every Fulani person who is a criminal.
Certainly not.
All right. So, but for those of them who are criminals, you either have to crush them, or if they have said, look, we are not going to continue with the banditry, for those of them who have committed serious crimes like rape, like kidnap, like murder, they should be tried in the law courts. Now, it is not just in areas where you have banditry this should apply. It is in all other areas. Anybody who decides he will drop his arms, that's fine. They can be reabsorbed in society. However, in doing that, you must clearly identify those who have committed serious crimes, those who have committed murder, those who have committed rape, and you must prosecute them. But the state, when I'm talking of the state, I'm talking of security agencies, the military, the police, and the other agencies, custom, immigration, they must all come together and work together. But you see, each one of them is standing on his own. So somebody has to coordinate those activities into a system.
I see.
Now, So as I said, first, you must crush those who are not ready to repent.
Yeah.
Those who have repented, you must identify the criminals amongst them, prosecute them, and punish them accordingly. Those who are not involved in this, they should be accommodated into the society. However, that means you have dealt with the current problem. Now the next stage is to say, okay, we have dealt with the current problem. It's not there. We have taken care of the bandits, we have taken care of the terrorists, we have taken care of the cultists, we have taken care of the separate, all of them. Now, but these people are recruited from the larger society. How do you stop the recruitment of people into this outlawed organizations?
Yes.
Because if you don't stop the recruitment, then as you are clearing these ones, some people will replace them.
Well,
Now,
some people want to argue, how did we get in here? Not even in the first place.
I'm coming to that.
Yeah, okay.
You see, so you must stop that. Now, to stop that, you need to do two things. Number one, as I said, if you look at other countries, you hardly see anybody carrying arms, and the place is secure. You can move anytime, anyhow. You are not afraid. Look, in Nigeria, in the 70s, you can drive to any part of this country in the middle of the night. If your car breaks down, you just park on the road. In the morning, the villagers will come and give you something to drink for a breakfast. What it means is that the system is functioning. So you don't feel the presence of the security agencies. It doesn't mean they are not there. They are there. They are working 24 hours a day. And this is the way it works. You see, security is a highly organized activity. And that's why it becomes literally invisible. Now, but it has to be located at the community level. We said local government as at this time. Now, in each local government, there need to be a security committee. And this security committee should be chaired by the chairman. But there must be a secretary to that committee. In this committee, you will have the police, you will have the SSS, you will have prisons if they are in that local government, immigration if in their local government, civil defense corps, VIO, all of them with community leaders, religious leaders, and the elders selected in that community. But they have to meet on a regular basis. The importance of this meeting is as follows. The community leaders, the traditional rulers, and the security agencies have different sources of information. When they come to this meeting, they will all come with this information. They will harmonize it, and then they will see what are the threats in that particular locality. There are those that they can deal with through talking. There are those that will say, well, it will require the police to arrest so person. But the police will do further investigation. And if it is necessary to prosecute the person, if it is necessary to just warn the person. Also, but it is done on a regular basis.
How regular?
When I was a permanent secretary in Kaduna State, which is a present-day Kaznan, we used to make sure that it takes place weekly. And each local government will now write a report, because our SPAMSEC political security was in my office. So each secretary of a local government must send a security report to me on a weekly basis. And that report will contain two parts. One, their security breakdown in the last 1 week, how they have managed it. And the second part will be a projection. This is what we anticipate will be the threats in next week, and this is our plan on how to manage it. Now, if there is a lingering security which they have not been able to resolve, sometimes I'll take it up with the governor who will now deal with it. Now, if in the situation the security breach is within two local governments, automatically none of the chairman of the local government can resolve the problem on his own, so he sends it up to the governor.
We'll just take a quick break.
All right.
Honorable Minister, when we get back, we go on this historical journey, how it used to be. We also will just take a quick break, and when we get back, we continue with our discussion. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back. In case you are just tuning in, you are watching Sunday Politics on Trust Television, and our guest today is Alhaji Lawan Bachagara, former Minister of State Defense. Before we went on break, he had dwelled on how security used to be, that security is everybody's business, especially at the local government level. Now, Honorable Minister, you were saying if the conflict is beyond the capacity of the two local governments to resolve, what happens next?
It's the governor who takes over and manages it. But if the situation is in between the borders of two states, the two states will now report to the president and he takes over. So that is the arrangement. You know, that's the way the system functions.
Yes.
And within that system, the military has a specific role to play. The military is trained to kill.
Yes, that's the question I was going to ask, now that you touched on it, because the involvement of military in internal security, which, well, I don't know whether it used to be the norm.
No, it still should not be the norm. You see, the only time you are supposed to bring the military in is under two conditions. Number one, if there is riot.
A riot?
Riots, and which is beyond the capacity of mobile police, where lives...
That's the anti-riot police. Yes.
Beyond,
yes.
Yeah, where life and property is being destroyed. Because as I said, the military is trained to kill. When they come, they shoot to kill. No questions asked. Because if you don't stop the riots immediately, more lives will be lost. The second, for internal, it is only like you had in Borno, where Boko Haram were declaring themselves anti-state, and they wanted to create a state within a state, because that's why they are called defense forces. So they are to defend the territorial integrity of the country. The territorial integrity can be threatened within by terrorists, cultists, anybody who will declare a space is no-go area for security agencies. He has committed treason, military comes in. So that's one. It is other, the next issue is if you are attacked by a foreign country, again, the military comes in. So for the internal security, we say that they are in defense of, in support of civil authority. Now, police are considered part of civil authority. So that's when the military comes in. But in terms of this meeting, you will find that most of the time, what is being articulated is intelligence, is the intelligence that is available to the community, to the police, to the military, to the immigration and the rest of it. It all is now brought together in one place at that committee, or the security committee meeting. And so everybody is aware what the other person is doing and what are the threats and how to manage them. Now, so that is the organization, the organizational structure of the security. It has to be there. But as I said earlier, you must stop the recruitment into terrorism, banditry, cultist, separatist movements. Now that is a big issue. Because a substantial part of people who find themselves into this are young, impressionable people who should either be in school or they must be gainfully employed, so that they do not have time on their hands to get involved with all these unwholesome activities. Of course, there is the other side. You must also make it possible for people to earn a decent living. Let's take the case of two trades in Nigeria: fisheries, fishermen and pastoralists. The rate of growth of their population is much faster than the growth of their assets. So their assets can no longer sustain them.
I see.
So they are going into poverty. The same thing with the fishermen. The rate at which they are fishing, they are depleting the fishing resources. So that fishing cannot sustain them. Now, if the economy is growing at a fast rate, then they can be absorbed in other sectors of the economy without going into hunger, being able to live a decent life in a fairly conducive environment. So part of stopping recruitment into this is actually expanding the economy so that more people can be gainfully employed into the economy. They do not resort to crime in order to feed.
So it's not all stick. There must be some carrot somewhere. It's not stick alone. I mean, it's not force alone.
It is not force alone.
Yeah.
To ensure a stable and secure environment, a lot of people must feel and believe that, look, the system is fair to them and it is conducive for them to have a decent living. This is extremely important. Your own internal satisfaction, your own feeling of optimism makes you try to protect what you already have.
But sir, some people want to argue. They argue that apart from what you itemize here as being responsible partly for, well, exponential growth in the population of, well, fishermen, pastoralists, which their traditional economy perhaps cannot cater for them adequately. But some people argue that, well, that also the exposure to new, maybe corrupting tendencies. For example, we all know that since the coming of this republic, politicians have, in a way, encouraged rural-urban migration by giving, maybe in some places, as incentive, motorcycles to do business, and so on and so forth. Now,
look, I am a politician.
Yes.
And I have been in politics since 1978. Now, some of the ways we are practicing politics is wrong. Clear, it's wrong. Look, politics is supposed to be about service to the people. What can you do to move the society forward? And we must go back to that, because unless people feel they have something at stake in the system, they will not cooperate with you to ensure the security of the system, because it doesn't serve them any purpose. If I'm perpetually hungry or I'm being perpetually maltreated, what is my stake in the system? Let it collapse. So the economy must grow, but it has to grow in such a way that a bulk majority of the Nigerian people feel it is impact. It is impacting them positively. All right? It is impacting them positively. So that it means they have something at stake. You know, the issue of mortgage, for instance,
yes,
it is a big psychological issue in ensuring that more and more people feel they are part of the system. The person who has a house, no matter how ramshackle it is, he will not want anybody to burn it. So it stabilizes him. If you go to South Africa, you will see in some of the areas that were devastated by apartheid. They divide plots. And even if you put nylon, it's yours. And you don't like that shanty town to be destroyed.
Yes.
So the question of accommodation through the growth of the economy in a fair way is an extremely important component of stopping recruitment into banditry, terrorism, separatism, and cultist movements.
Yes. Well, quickly, Honorable Minister, now you mentioned in the course of this discussion that unless perhaps miscreants or people who are a threat to the state are fished out and punished, and the state perhaps should do that no matter what it takes. But then some people say quickly that the state right now is overwhelmed, that actually some of the people wielding guns right now, perhaps they cannot really easily be brought to book.
No.
And because of the numerical inadequacy of our security forces.
Look. That is not correct. If everybody will do his job the way it is to be done, all this talk of the security agencies overstretched will not be there, because the support they will get from the larger society is adequate for them to do this work. All right? The military, the police, yes, you need to improve the quality of their training, the regularity of their training, the number of times they go for retraining. Yes, you need to do that. In some cases, but we are overemphasizing every time we are talking about insecurity. There isn't enough funding for security agencies. Look, unless there is the capacity to utilize the money properly, if you give the money, it is wasted. It will not be used. So the question is, the issue is you must go back to that issue of organization. You must reorganize the society. The local governments must be allowed to operate as a tier of government. And you must, all of us, don't leave this issue to us politicians. Everybody should be involved to ensure that good people are involved in politics and they get elected into public offices. If we don't do that, we should not just sit down and be blaming the security agencies, because we are not discharging our own responsibility properly. Well, the issue of moving the country forward is incumbent on all of us. We should check. You should check as the politicians.
Well, thank you, Honorable Minister. Because of time, this is why we end our discussion. The idea that everybody, politics and governance should be everybody's business. People should be involved. Well, viewers, we come to the end of today's program. We've been talking in the last couple of minutes with the former Minister of State Defense, Alhaji Lawan Batagara. Goodbye. See you another time.